I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your cattle market summary for the week ending February the 19th, brought to you in part by the American Simmental Association. Explore the advantages of responsible crossbreeding with Sim Genetics. Visit simmental.org. Boy, the cattle market really sprung higher this week, and how could it not with the fantastic weather we've had. You know, just in across cattle country, and almost anybody you talk to, especially through the central part of the United States, it just didn't get better than late in the week and on Saturday this past weekend. And just outstanding weather, just puts everybody in a good mood, and trees are starting to bud, and the grass is starting to perk up in some places already. And you know, are we done with winter? Who knows? There's sure going to be some more cold spots come through, and they're talking about some little spritz of cold rain and snow around this week, but the temperatures are coming right back. But you look at your live cattle futures, the February contract on Friday was up 22 cents. April was down 42, but your February contract ended the week at 135.75, which was up $5.80 for the week. Feeder cattle on the March contract ended down 60 on Friday at 156, which was still up $6 nearly for the week, just lacked a couple cents there. But CME feeder cattle cash index is 158.58. Real-time index on cattle market centrals at 157.29, and there just hasn't been a whole lot of volatility this past week. If you remember, we kind of lucked out this past week because we had a Monday close on the board, and it just really messed things up because they always kill the board on a Monday, probably kill it this Monday, but they didn't have their Monday there to kill the board, wasn't sure what to do, then come back open on Tuesday up the limit, and then just made steady gains throughout the week, which it's usually always kind of on the weaker side on Friday, and it was again this past weekend. But your fat cattle trade, we're getting a lot of resistance from your feedlots because the cash is at a discount to what the board is in many areas. Some of your guys in the northern plains are getting discounted, they feel like, because they've got a lot of tag or mud hanging on their cattle, and the dressing percentage is not great. But we did start to see some dress trade late on Friday at 210. They thought maybe they could get 212. We're not exactly sure where everything wound up, but the next time we talk, we'll have it all put together. But pretty good optimism really throughout. I was at a bull sale broadcasting in Savannah, Missouri on Saturday, and just that outstanding weather, and you couldn't have fit another person in that auction barn, and everybody just feeling pretty good about things, and prices are good on the breeding stock and some of these purebred bulls, and the market was just overall good on everything. You know, guys have things to look forward to. We thought this was going to be a big downer year, you know, meaning all of 2016. Well, we've already survived the wreck. It happened last year, and most of us have lived to tell about it. A few went down in flames, and we hate to see that happen to anybody. But for the most part, we've got optimism to look forward to. We thought we were going to dread, and I really thought that this market would bottom out in the fall of this year, but we had our wreck last year, and so we really think we've got some gains ahead of us, and our inputs are a lot cheaper than what we're used to. Grains have stayed cheap. The diversified cattle farmer and grain farmers not too excited about that, but you know, in South America and places where they're growing a lot of the same feed grains that we grow here, they're having an outstanding crop, and it's all pretty much due to this El Nino deal, and we've got some moisture out west. They're going to be grazing some cattle in California and places like that this summer where they haven't been able to support grazing for quite a few years, and just quite a bit of optimism really out there to go around. Now every time things get good, you start worrying about where the shoe's going to drop, And a lot of times when we come out of an El Nino year, it tends to be dry. And a lot of people are worried about that. And if you're going to turn a lot of cattle out this summer, you sure want to be hedged up or contracted on your grazing cattle or something, because if it should turn out to be awful dry like it does a lot of times right after an El Nino year, then we know that our grains are going to get higher, and you're going to want to be protected. But the only thing that's really weaker is box beef cutout values, which we've known that February is a tough month for them. Through the weekly trade on choice this week, box beef at $213.84 at the end of the weekly trade, down $3.79. Selects are about a $4 discount there, and down $4.76 for the week. Cattle on feed on Friday come out and just about as neutral as you can absolutely get one, if neutral means that the analysts predicted what was going to happen, because they absolutely nailed it this year, or this month. The on feed on February 1st was expected to be 99.8%. That is exactly to the 10th what it come out to be. Placements, they were spot on there. They were estimated to be just over 99%, and they come out right at 99%. And marketings were expected to be real close to 98%, and that's exactly what they came out to be. So just they absolutely nailed the cattle on feed. So if your board's up or down this week, it's not due to the cattle on feed report, because the analysts absolutely notched it. Cash feeder cattle this week just pretty much started out on a higher note and stayed that way throughout, with all your sales through the week ranging mostly firm to $5 higher than the same sale a week ago. Your biggest gains were seen on your middleweight cattle, like your 6-weight cattle, 2-weight kind of cattle that could either go on to feed or be turned out. Especially some cattle with some condition that hasn't been supplementally fed too much this winter, and not exactly thin, but got a green look to them. Some dry wintered cattle that hadn't been fed a whole lot of grain, maybe just wintered on hay. But you've got two different groups banging on them 6-weights. People going right into the feedlot, and people looking for some cattle with some weight to them to turn out to graze. And a lot of your major grazing areas like the Flint Hills, the Osage, and the foothills of the Rockies, and some places like that, they like to turn a steer, especially weighing close to 6 or maybe a little better, out in April, and hoping that he'll weigh close to 9 when he comes off. So you know, those big outfits and your major grazing areas, they're not turning out a 400-pound ball and calf anymore. They've learned what works. But look at Cattle Market Central and some specific quotes this week. On Friday in Lexington, Nebraska, they had a load of steers around noon there on Friday. Weighed 751, which is right on par with what our board is at 165 1/4. So that's a big premium to what your board and your CME index is. In South Coffeyville, Oklahoma, on Friday afternoon, they had a load of 557-pound steers, bring 197. Pretty good market there. Check out DV Auction. If you're in the cattle business, you need to be getting on DV Auction and watching some of these sales. Just this coming week, DV Auction is boasting 55 production cattle sales. Just about any breed you might be interested in, any kind of cattle you want, but 55 production sales in 1 week, and we're getting right at the high time for our spring bull sales right now. And that's on top of our regular slate of weekly commercial sale barns that are broadcast every week on every day on DV Auction. But from a home office here in Maysville, Missouri, we'll talk to you next week.